Been a while.
Fuck's sake.
Ready? Hello, guys. Welcome to another All Around Sorare podcast with myself, Sorare Ellis, Sorare Jonesy, and Sorare Capital. How are we doing, lads?
Not too bad. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. We've got a lot to jump into today, but I think the first place to start with is Essence. And let's take a look, guys. So, what do you guys know already?
I know that it's going to be good fun crafting cards and then getting shafted in what you crafted.
Yeah, I saw there were people, weren't there, trying to do the calculations to how many essences you need to obtain and how long that's going to take to obtain it. So you can only imagine that you've got a 50-50 chance of getting a tier one and a star. You get given a low tier one or something like that. But it's still a great way, I think, to bust out some free to play things, isn't it? So
Yeah,
it'd be
I think
quite good.
one thing I know Josie, you especially have been an advocate for is adding things to boxes, boosting the boxes up.
Yeah.
Do you think this is the answer to that?
This is one of the answers. This is a good step in the right direction. I've got a little strategy for it as well. I'm well excited for when this comes out. I've got such a good strategy.
You have a
Oh,
strategy for everything.
For this one, I've definitely got one.
is the strategy in beta, or are you ready to share it with the world?
I can share it. I believe you get 20 essence per box as a reward. So if you do get essence, I think you get 20 in a box. Right?
Okay.
Now, 500 gets you a star and a tier 1, right? Can you imagine how long that's going to take? So
Yeah.
at least if you got an essence every single week, and it was just 20, just one essence, that's like what for the 100 milestone, it's 5 weeks, right?
Yeah.
That means for the 500 essence is what times it
20,
by 5
25.
again, 25 weeks. It takes you half a year to get a star or a tier 1. But in the 100 milestone, or the 3 milestone 300 essence, you got a chance at a star, a tier 1, a tier 2, and a tier 3, but it only costs you 100 essence. So it costs you 5 times less, and you can get as many in as you can, and you still got a chance of hitting the star in tier 1. It's not even a low chance either, it's like 15%. So
Oh,
it's not
that's not
low
too
though.
bad.
And bear in mind, you'll get 5 of those for every one of the star ones. So just aim for the 100 one every time, everybody.
Jonesy, you're going to be
Aim for
churning tier threes.
Well, think about it. 5 tier 3s probably equals the same price as a tier 1, which is what you're going to get out of your 500 one. I'll probably get more out of 5 tier 3s than you would out of
The
one tier 1.
last tier 3 I packed was about £10, but that was back end of this season, so next season there'll be a lot more, I'm sure.
And think about some of your stars are like 50 quid, 40 quid
Yeah.
sometimes. So I think it's more beneficial to take the 100 essence one every 5 weeks than it does to save up and have a chance or a bigger chance at a star
Yeah.
in
Well,
25 weeks.
I've seen a lot of podcasts and a lot of people predicting prices for next season. And I know at very early stages, I think some of these cards are going to be worth quite a bit. So if you can craft early, get one of those, even a tier 2 plus, yeah, you're probably going to make some decent money. So
And
yeah.
they're in rival boxes.
Yes, that's interesting as well. We must get onto the
That's a
rivals.
big bonus for us because if we spam the rivals, you could be getting instead of 20 the essence a week, you might be getting 40.
Yeah, just read that here. Manage to convert essence capsules in reward boxes on Sorare
Yeah.
Rivals and Sorare Pro. Collect essence across multiple game weeks and your progress will be rewarded. The higher the division, the better the box, and the more chance you have to get a higher number of essence capsules. So there's a different amount of essence you can win.
Yeah.
Right, okay. And is 20 the top tier? Is that what you're saying, Josie?
I'm sure I saw. I can't find the screenshot, but I'm sure 20 essence was in the box. But I can't now find the bloody screenshot for it. But I'm sure
Yeah,
it's 20.
I have seen that same screenshot somewhere. Maybe it's in this little video, if I can play it.
It's 20 essence for the first milestone.
Nope, this is a GIF,
Just
basically.
trying to...
No, it's not in that one, is it?
But it's cool.
So, no.
I like all the UI here. It looks good.
Yeah, it does. At least it's not somewhat oversaturated like the rest of the bloody promotions they do. But I quite like that it's mixed in with rivals as well because I'm actually, don't know about you guys, and probably Jonesy will probably he's probably going to say this through gritted teeth, but I still think he enjoys it of Rivals, and I know it can be quite frustrating and whatever else, but I quite like this whole, just extra bit of grinding you can do. I've spoken to a couple of FPL users recently who have dropped me messages and stuff, and even they say like they're grinding out the Rivals because it's good to get even that tier 5 rewards. Because obviously as more experienced users, obviously if a tier 5 pops up, we're like, okay, whatever. But when someone else sees it and they actually get a card that they've just grinded for completely free, yeah, I think it's obviously a different sensation, a different feeling for those sort of users, and that's always great. And I think it's come at a really good time around the Euros now, because we saw a massive influx. I think it was around the World Cup initially, and I think a lot of people, it was the exact same sort of feeling as this Euros going on. There was different rules, there was different drafting mechanisms and systems in place, and they're doing that now with the Euros. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just, yeah, I think it just looks really good. It looks quite promising, I think, as well. I've seen nothing but good positivity about it as well. I don't think really there's anyone on the Twitter that's find any negatives in it. I'm sure there will be, but from what I've seen, not too many. And I think it's really good. That mix of Rivals, free to play, I think has become as good as any. And I think I want to touch on what you guys are, because you guys more or less go into the rare scarcity. I think this essence thing, if you start grinding out some rare, some rare essences to build up for a milestone 5, yeah, it might take you half a year, but if you can snag yourself a star tier 1 rare, I mean, you're laughing with at least a few £100.
You are.
You know what I mean? So
just to touch quickly back on that Rivals point, I always do remember the podcast that we did with Harry Trades, and shout out to Harry, he's a great guy. And I've recently been enjoying his content with us, with Led and some of the promotional stuff for the new era of Sorare as it is. But yeah, I think one of the main points was Rivals had no purpose, and it was just kind of a means to nothing really. And since it's sort of gone live, since the beta, I've just found it so enjoyable. I mean, even in the mini league, you start to remember some of the names, and when you're in and around the sort of top spots, you think, oh shit, is he going to play that game? It was yesterday. I recently just finished first and opened the Ultimate box. Got a tier 5, unfortunately, but it was a guaranteed card from a free-to-play game, which is great. So I can't complain at all. But it was really tight, and it's just like watching other people. So no, I think it's got a lot of hope, and I think as other users come in and start to see that free-to-play aspect, and like you said, grinding the leagues from 10th all the way to 1st, yeah, it's going to be really exciting. And with more additions with the boxes as well, with the essence, yeah, you're right. There's a lot of positivity on Twitter. Haven't seen any negativity about it at all.
I'm going to put some negative on it now.
Thanks, guys, for watching this podcast.
No, I'm not really. I like Rivals. It's good fun. Like Cap, I know, like this. I could have probably topped our leaderboard. Me and Cap were in the same league this week.
yeah.
You're in the same league.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
I went on a horrible run, right? And to blame for the run is partially me, but also partially the system. It is the system. I told you they should have changed it. So what I think you should do now in Rivals is you set to play, right? But you don't pick a team. It matches you up with somebody, and then you have to draft your team from the players. Once you've picked a player, the other person can't pick that player. There's too many times I've come up against the exact same team, with the exact same captain, with the exact same, or just like maybe the, what's it called, where you got G-Gen press and all that changed. It's got to stop. If you do it as a draft, and draft your team, get 30 seconds like each pick or something, or 20 seconds each pick. It stops like the same team every single time. It's just getting a bit annoying playing the same team.
I would agree with the fact that the same team can be very annoying. However, yesterday in my Netherlands game, we both had a DMP player, Coop Myers, I think was injured before the game started. Both left him in our lineups. And that obviously made it quite interesting because we both had to make subs. He brought in Weghorst, who I didn't think got any minutes, and I brought in Marlon, who got an assist or something ridiculous. So do you think the subs aspect gives players who are falling behind a sort of edge to get back in the game, do you think, Jonesy?
No, because you come in with a sub and it's 0 and there's no guarantee they come on.
Yeah, I think the subs may need a bit of work. Because obviously once they're on as well, you can't sub them in, which does make sense. If
If
they've
you
already
do the
got more
draft
points.
system, you can draft your subs as well. You could draft 3 subs each person. So you could draft a defender, midfielder, and attacker for your bench. Same for the other guy drafted, and they're the only 3 you can use to bring on if you needed to bring someone on. Not that you would ever really need to bring someone on, but I think the draft system where you can have different teams, and then you'll also have a mix up in the teams as well, so you won't just constantly come up against a full Portugal stack or a full, England stack.
Oh,
No,
that's
if
a good point, actually. Do you think maybe Sorare could make the game interesting by saying you can only select 3 players from this team, for example, for one game, maybe?
No,
And
I
then players
don't
are
think they can
forced to
do
be
it by
creative.
law. I don't think they can do it by law in England. We've got a lot of rules in England that stops like Sorare doing certain things. So they can't. In other countries, if you put a team out, you can get matched up against any scarcity. So you could put like a full 5 stack of commons out, and you could come up against a 5 stack of uniques, for example. In England, we have to have it at level playing fields. It's something to do with the law. So if you put out 5 commons, you have to come up against 5 commons. Or if you put out 1 limited, you have to come up against like 1 limited. Or I think it might be 1 either way. If you put a limited in, I think you can come up against 2 limiteds or
No,
none at all.
You're absolutely right, Jones. It is one either way. I put one rare player in the other day, and I got matched up against someone one rare player.
Yeah, it has to be. It depends on where you are in the world, but it has to be because something to do with the law. It has to be matched equally in the UK.
Yeah, I think I want to play a bit of devil's advocate before then. So just because I forgot your point now, because we've been able to talk for a few more minutes on your point.
Draft the
What was
players.
your,
That's my point.
yeah, what was your initial point there though? Before you said drafting players in the sense of like, right, so you're with you're in the same thing as this person that you're in the arena with, and then you both have 20 seconds to select a certain position and whatever else. I think the
Yeah.
counter
So,
argument to that is obviously the fact is that that's probably all well and good doing it with the bigger sides, the bigger national teams, bigger sides. But when it comes to like, for example, I'm jumped in a rivals.
This would be good.
Just then with Saudi Arabia versus Jordan. Do you know what I mean? So it's like the likelihood of sometimes I don't even get matched with people with these sort of nations. I guess you could say the less higher up ones, that the lower ranking ones. So I don't think that would ever work. And again, going back off like subs, I find subs quite pointless. I think the difference maker should just be the tactics. And I've done it a few times now where obviously, like let's say Belgium versus I don't know Andorra or something like that was to happen. Obviously, everyone's going to go Belgium. So the likelihood of you guys choosing the same team or from the same team is obviously going to be very highly likely. They need to maybe fix something within that to be like, I don't know, like if you have the same players and the same captain, at least have a different tactic. You know what I mean? So at least it's something different there.
Or maybe
But
Sorare's algorithm could match you up with someone. Yeah, like you're saying, with a different tactic.
the way I thought, like Jonesy was saying about it, obviously you can elaborate, but from what I took from it is that you enter the arena and then you're almost like waiting for your opponent. You know what I mean? Because so I don't know how that 10-second thing would work if you weren't live with someone else. Yeah, because then how would that work in regards to the timing with everything? But yeah, I like the idea, but I don't think it'd work. But like I said, with the lesser teams, and you're not your England's, not your France, not your Germany's. Your Saudi Arabia's, your Jordans, your Andorras, things like this, where people or Japan's, people where they will want to jump in, but um, yeah, obviously there's going to be less, not competition, but there's going to be less people jumping on it.
I think you just given me a massive reason of why it would work and why it'd be more beneficial from what you just said.
Okay.
So, like you said, the lesser teams, it's like going to be a bit more discouraging. But if you put the research in the background to be one of the best players, and or you have an inkling of who's going to be starting for Saudi Arabia, and you want to pick those players up, and you can write them down while you're doing your draft or just before you draft, and you've got 5 names there that you want, and you've got to pick them by priority and try and get them all. I think that's much more like it's a bigger skill gap than what we've currently got. At the moment, I'm throwing in a team. I'm basically watching one player because that's the only player difference I've got with the other guy. That's the only thing that stops me from winning or losing is that
But
one player.
But again, with that though, again, you obviously that's the whole point, I guess, of Sorare having the lineups come out and say this player's starting, this player's starting when you go through the lineups. But let's be realistic here. I think for me, I'm not gonna lie, I never did my research on Saudi Arabia versus Jordan, and I'm not going to either because it's too much hassle for the amount of shit I'll probably get back just to probably lose the game. Um, because there is an element of luck, obviously, with these ones, of course. But the teams, obviously, you know and love, or the nations you know and love or know about, of course, then you can put your footballing knowledge to it. I think there's only so much you can do when it comes to, again, the like sort of lesser nations or the lesser leagues. Only so much research you can do. I've got a racing club stack, and that's difficult enough to try find who's starting, who's injured, let alone if they're actually playing and all this other stuff. So, yeah, so I get what you mean, but again, I just don't see how it would benefit in any way. I think the rivals in general, I think is quite good. I think it's quite balanced. I think that if the fact that Ellis had a 2% chance of winning some signed kits, and we have seen it on Twitter of people winning these signed kits and packing a Jude Bellingham, packing a Vinicius, packing a whoever it may be, or unboxing, I should say, is I think phenomenal just to play the game, and that's on top. This is what I said beforehand, if you remember all those podcasts ago, is that when you're in FIFA, you can grind just weekend league, you can grind your squad battles, you can grind this, and you'll have a better team than the person who just does the one thing, because you're actually churning out results and you're churning and you're grinding for a better team, a better squad, more coins to do more things. And that's what you want, right? If you churn out more of these, you're going to get more arena tickets, which is going to do more than the next person. So yeah, I think I really enjoy Rivals. I'm really enjoying. I'm enjoying it more than I thought I would. Don't get me wrong. I'm not hopping out of bed for it, but if I can put a game in, obviously I definitely will. And I think everyone's like that. It's free at the end of the day. It takes 30 seconds of your time just to spam a team. Wish yourself lucky. And that's what I do many times. I've done it many times. A minute or two before 8 o'clock or something with Portugal versus whoever the hell it is, and I just spam the first team, the first 5 players that come to mind within the point system. So we'll do it. I can't say like we're all gonna absolutely, all right, I'm gonna write down this person, write down that person. Let's do the research. What's the score he got against Jordan last time? Because likelihood is that information probably isn't out there anyway. And it's gonna be really difficult.
Josie, I've got a question for you, and this is just from a TCG background, from playing card games.
Yeah. Because you know where I'm coming from, technically, really, don't you?
The person, you might know what I'm going to ask you here. Who goes first when you do the draft picks, and how do you make that fair?
So that should be like a coin flip, essentially. Like how you get on your games. It should be essentially a coin flip.
So do you know how they decide to balance that on the second turn?
Or it'd be like something along the lines. You just select what you think it's going to be, heads or tails. It'll virtually flip it, and it'll be random, just randomly number generated, and then that'll be it. If you get it wrong,
I don't think that's fair though.
Why is that not fair? It's a coin flip.
Yeah, exactly. But just because it's 50-50, just because next time it's still 50-50, don't go to 60-40. So it's always 50-50. I can flip a coin now, and I could hit tails 10 times. Like, it can happen. Obviously,
you're not going to be selecting 10 times, though, in the Sorare Rivals thing, because it'll flip to the other guy because you selected last time.
What do you mean?
So you won't always be selecting the coin flip. If me and you were playing each other 10 times, you wouldn't select the coin flip 10 times.
No, I get that, but I still have the same probability you do, regardless of who picks the squad.
That's what it should be, though. It should be equal. Is that not right? It should be even.
So one way they try and balance it is by saying first person gets to pick 1 card.
Yeah, next person gets to pick 2.
Next person picks 2. Now,
yeah.
There is an argument that's not fair still, but that apparently is the answer. So that was one of my points. Just want to touch on
something that's so simple. Like, what's the point? Sorare's already so complicated. Like, why?
So it's nice to innovate, but yeah, I do like how it is.
In the current format it is in, this will not hold my attention beyond the Euros. It will not. It's just not. It's not competitive enough. Like I say, the amount of times I put 25 teams in this week. Cap, you were there. You did it with me. There 25 games, and I reckon at least 10 of those games I had the exact same team as the person opposite me. Maybe bar 1 player difference.
I agree something like that needs to change, but I think a coin flip or
It's
When
not a coin. No, the coin flip to decide who picks the first player.
yeah, but still, if someone's gaining a benefit on top, whether that's down to luck or whatever it is, right? I don't think it's going to be fair because you can't just boil it down to that. I think it goes against what you're saying as well about having done your knowledge as well. So it's like I don't think that will work. I think bringing in anything that's relying on some virtual coin to do the coin flip because I get to choose the Portuguese keeper and then he has to stick with the Andorra goalkeeper, I think is highly unfair. Do you know what I mean? Maybe outfielders could be the go, but because there's 3, 4 different alternatives there. But
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. I agree with that. You can have the same
maybe that's the
goalkeeper,
thing,
but you
then I
can.
still don't agree with the flip, the coin flip of it all. So, but yeah, no, I get your point. I do see it. I just disagree with it. That's all.
At the moment, the game mode is very luck based over skill based, which is not what Sorare is about, and it's never been about that, is it? There is an element of luck to Sorare,
Of
but people
course.
that do their research more often than not come out on top of people that don't do the research.
Yeah,
But
more
that's the way it
often
should
than
be, right?
Yeah,
Still,
that's how it should be. The more you put into the game, the more you should get out. Well, technically, the more knowledge you have in the game as well, the more you can get out of it.
I,
There's obviously an element
as
of
someone
luck.
who's just finished first, I genuinely do put a lot of research in, like before the games. I put like at least
There
5
you
minutes
go.
per game, and I'll tell you exactly what I did on the
you're
podcast
probably
here.
the anomaly there, though, Ellis, as well.
Yeah, I probably am. I probably am, and maybe they're doing it as well. But I would genuinely, I would go to SofaScore, I would go to Fantasy Stats, and if it is a dominant team, I would look at the players in the past who've had the most passes, for example, or the most players with the most shots and targets. Duels take a little bit longer, so I just tend to stick with those ones.
I'm not trying to discredit anything we do. All right, you do, Jonesy does, or someone else listening to this, right? That who is putting in the effort and work. I believe that if you're churning it out and you're doing this, then you deserve to reap those rewards. But I think there has to be almost like an element of luck to keep people within this space as well. Because, for example, like
Yeah,
who was
yeah.
number one for Rivals before this whole Rivals boxes was up? It was someone who didn't own a card, and he was
Yeah.
top of Rivals. He got his recognition. He was rewarded and whatever else. But that's what we need and want though as well at the same time, like that we need those sort of players to stick with because not everyone can afford to buy a player. Some people will, like as I've spoken to FPL players who don't want to put a penny in. Do you know what I mean? They just want to grind it out in regards to the free to play aspect. So let the pro side of things, which is why it's called pro, because we're more professional and we do our research and whatever else, and you do have to pay and commit to it, or just stick with the free to play and grind out that way. They're not exactly being absolutely rewarded in the sense of like they're getting thousands and thousands of pounds here. Like they're getting, if they
All
get
the
stuck,
time
they're
they could.
talking about 100, 200 quid.
And I think the problem is, like you said, FPL players that don't want to put a penny in, that should not be who Sorare are really targeting. I know they need new users, but they need investment. They don't need.
This is
people
where
that
I might
can-
disagree because I think they've done a very good job of getting the FPL guys in on the marketing recently. Because
Yeah, but if someone came
I-
to you and said, "I'm not putting a single penny into this, and I'm just going to grind the free to play and never ever spend a penny,"
I
that's a
don't
dead
think they say
user
that
for Sorare.
publicly, do they?
Well, that's what Cav just said. Cav just said that they
Privately?
want to be free to play and not spend a penny.
No, yeah, but like I said, I've spoken to many of them, but some small, some big, but it doesn't matter if they're small or big. Some of them don't want to put a penny in. Some of them have said that to me and they have put money in.
I
So
think we have to accept that Rivals and Pro are two separate entities that are integrated, obviously, and there will be progression going from Rivals to Pro. I'm sure that's what Sorare want.
Yeah.
Like dangling the carrot, basically. Like, if I was a free to play user and I just packed a card or whatever, that's where they might go. Oh yeah, I might reach to my pocket and buy the rest of the team.
you've got to remember they tried to grab Matt HD Gamer. He's obviously still not put any money in himself either, but it's still healthy for the platform to bring at least a couple of thousand from his followership to us, or not to us, to Sorare. Do you know what I mean? So it's always good because those 100, 500,000, 10,000 people, even if 10% of them input, some 10, 50, £100, that's still better off than what we were before.
Yeah.
So it's just getting it out there, I think, is the biggest issue.
I think there are 10 million players in FPL if even an extra 100,000 people that like, want to take FPL just a little bit further and want to spend a tenner on the game, it'll do Sorare pretty good. And that's just 1%. So
That's fair. That's fair. Like, it's not for the established players. I don't think that's the rivals. I'll tell you what, it is going to be really good fun. Like now we're at the end of the Europe season, and we can only put in like 3 teams because we don't all hold K League and MLS cards, or a lot of them. This is where rivals is fun. As soon as the European season rolls around, I think even I know Cap loves his rivals, but I think including Cap, he'll stop playing rivals once his gallery is grown a bit, and he spent a bit of money on cars because I know he's planning on to. So
yeah, and you might be absolutely right. So should we touch on that? The European competitions for Sorare rivals.
Oh yeah, I've got it up on my screen. The rewards.
Oh sweet.
Right, so
We'll take a quick pause, and we'll be right back, guys. Right, we're back, guys. We've decided to postpone the reward boxes, and we're going to go through our ideal England 11 for the Euros. So, Jonesy, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, so we'll go player by player. So I'm guessing we've all got the same goalkeeper. I've got Jordan Pickford in that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, that's good. We're on to a good start, boys. We're agreeing.
Here we go.
So just before I carry on, we did make a rule that you could drop a player out of the squad to bring in one other player. So someone that's been let go from the squad can be brought back in, or someone that wasn't even included in the first place can be put back in and put in the starting 11 if you wanted to.
Is this optional?
It's optional, you don't have to.
Okay.
I have done it, and I think Cap's done it, because he was asking me about it. So, right back. Hopefully, I think there's going to be some change here. I've gone Kyle Walker.
Me too.
I've gone Trent.
Why? He can't defend. No, I'm joking. It's not a bad shout. It'd be close second for me.
I've got reasons to pick Trent. But yeah, I can explain at the end.
Okay.
We're going. No, tell us now while we're going through position. Tell us why you picked Trent over Walker.
It's got to do with the rest of my team. That's all.
Right.
Oh,
Okay.
interesting. Okay.
All right. Okay. So, but what about when Trent has to defend Mbappe and can't do it, but Walker can?
I think you've got to be tactical, but which Gareth
Okay.
yeah, it's just not. But I would choose Walker over Trent for that particular game. Yeah.
Okay.
Sarif Galfgate.
Does he manage Sporting Goujon?
Sporting Oviedo.
Right, anyway, stop taking the piss. Anyway, what have you guys got on centre backs wise then?
Go on, Ellis.
So, my pairing, John Bone Stones and Lewis Dunk.
Ooh. I've gone John Stones and Mark Guay.
Now, as you know, there's a few Brighton games this year. I've been watching Dunk for, quite a few years. So I'm a big Dunk fan. There is bias there. But I do believe if we play possession-style football against the teams we should be beating, Dunk's probably the man. Good at forward passes, great in the air. He's a brilliant defender, good on set pieces too. So that would be my pairing with Stones.
Yep.
Well, that leads nicely to why I chose Trent. Okay, it's because initially I'm going to give you both. Okay, because I've actually got one in, one out here as well. But because I know that's not possible, I've gone for John Stones and I've gone for Dunk. Okay, now I would replace Dunk with Branthwaite with Joe Gomez. Right, Branthwaite will go in over Joe Gomez in that starting in that whole England thing. Okay.
No disclaimer.
So, but because I can't choose Branthwaite, if that's my little one in, one out, Dunk will have to go in with Stones. And with Dunk's height, with Trent's crossing ability, I think that's going to do really well with him, like Rice, Kane, all this other stuff. I think they're going to do really, really well with his set pieces.
Yeah, I can definitely see why you've got Trent on the pitch for that very reason.
Fair enough. I've like I said, I've gone Guay. I would put Branthwaite in over Guay any day of the week, but I didn't want to use my one in, one out on that. So I'm going to go last on this next one because I've used my one in, one out. So who you guys putting left back?
How have we done on this?
I will explain my reasons.
All right. Well, I've gone the obvious one. The best left back in England is Luke Shaw. So I don't know how else you've gone for.
Done exactly the same. Done exactly the same.
Who the fuck you've got?
But I have put a caveat: if fit.
Yeah, this is why I've not put him in because he's not expected to be fit for the group stage, and the only left back we've got is a right back, which is Trippier. So I put in Tyreek Mitchell because he's been phenomenal for like the back end of the season. So I really want him. I thought he'd be in the squad to be honest, as at least a backup. But Yeah, if Luke Shaw is 100% fit for the very start, he starts. Yeah, I'd swap my Mitchell out and put Branthwaite in, but as my like one in, one out. But Shaw's not expected to be fit until like after the groups or the last group game. So that's why I put Mitchell in. That's my one in, one out. That is not even the biggest shock in my squad either. I know you. Right.
Let's get into it then. So we're going to go midfield 3. So I'll tell you what.
No, do one at a time. Do one at a time. Do one
Yeah,
at a time.
I'll tell you
Hold in mid. Hold in mid. Easy
My
one. This
holding
one.
mid's going to be Rice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same. That's easy. So
Right.
who's your 8?
I've gone for Mainu.
I like it.
Okay, because
You
I
gone
mean,
for Dana as well?
he's
I
a
haven't.
Savior reincarnation. Have you not
Fair
gone
enough.
Mainu at all?
I
Right?
would have gone Mainu,
He shows so much finesse and so much calmness on
but
the
I've
ball.
gone for Trent in.
Oh
the 8.
Jesus! Not this again. Not Trent in midfield. I'm not having this crap.
I actually quite like him in midfield. I think
That's the
it'll
end of
work.
the podcast. Thanks, guys, for watching. We'll see
I
you
think
next
it'll
week.
I think it'll work a lot in some of the group stage matches.
This is my team to play France, essentially. All right, okay, we'll let you off.
And that means I still get it means I get the set pieces, just like Cap mentioned. So yeah, Trent in number 8.
I've got Mainu as well / Wharton.
Yeah, I like
having
Wharton,
I think
great
he's
player.
really good.
Yeah,
So
rotate.
yeah, Mainu wins it there. Bloody Trent in.
And I'm guessing number 10 all gone the same. Hey Jude.
Jude. Hey, Jude.
I've got Phil Foden in the 10.
Interesting.
Rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
Premier League player of the season. It's his best position.
You're not
by
starting
a
the
mile.
Champions League winner.
I was going to ask you guys here, right? Okay, because just for a fun question, because I was going to specifically fucking point out Phil Foden, right? I was going to say, I've seen a lot on Twitter. Who's brilliant for club but shit for country, and he is number 1 on my list.
No, he's not.
He is utter wank for England. Honestly, he can do some good skills, whatever, but he does nothing like he does for City, and you can't say otherwise. Literally, you cannot say otherwise.
He's my 10.
Where is Jude going, by the way? La Liga Player of the Season and things like this, like one of the Ballon d'Or contenders. Like,
You're gonna find out, aren't you?
Oh, you're going to put him up front?
You're gonna find out. Right, we're moving to the wings. Right wing.
Easy, Saka.
Cap.
um,
Saka as well, yeah.
I've gone a bit of a, I don't know, one or the others.
Oh, Dan
Oh,
James in.
if you've put who I think you put right
I can't do
wing,
that.
then I won't complain. Cole Palmer.
I've gone Saka on the wing.
I don't know because I've got Saka. Okay, Saka's my main one, but
Yeah.
again, like, not as bad as Foden, but again, he's so much better for club than he is for country. Like, he is all right for country. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's anywhere close to Foden for the sake of like being rubbish for country. But yeah, I would choose Saka on the right. I am dabbling with Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer.
From what I've seen in the friendlies, I like the look of Palmer in the England squad. Like I do.
You
Suits
can
him
play
well.
anywhere across the front three as well.
You could. So if any one of my midfield 3 gets dropped for Palmer, no, in reality, I'm not going to be unhappy.
We've all got Saka right wing then, yeah?
Yeah.
So then some to the left wing.
I've gone Foden.
I've gone for Palmer.
I've gone for Palmer.
So Palmer is.
Palmer.
It's Palmer. And then probably the easiest spot to pick, really.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
I don't get what you've done here.
Up front, I've gone Dean Henderson. I think we need a big man up there, and he's the man for the job. No, I've got Harry Kane.
So where's Jude for you?
He's on the bench.
I can't believe that.
I watched him in 4
I think
Champions League.
If
more
you were
than
the
4,
England manager, I think fans would riot.
I've watched him in 5 Champions League games this season against big teams: City, Bayern. Well, I mean Dortmund, and he was shocking in all of them. He was easily the worst player on the pitch for Real Madrid in every single one of those ties. And I can't trust him for big games, so I'll have big game players in big games.
But then you chose Foden, who's done shit all for country.
Premier League player of the season, he's got like double a goal assist ratio.
I don't care if he's Premier League player of the season because you don't rate the player, the La Liga player of the season, which is that.
I don't
Bellingham.
rate La Liga full stop.
It doesn't matter. He still plays for Real Madrid, who has still won the Champions League over you lot.
I don't care.
You sound quite sour. It sounds like you do care.
I just don't think he. in my team, I would rather have all those players. The only player you could take him out for is Mainu, and I don't want to take Mainu out.
No, I think Mainu, Rice, and Jude Bellingham provide you've got a bit of defensive stability there. You've got some calm composure who can hit the ball between the lines, and you've got the attacking prowess of Jude. I think those three together suit each other really, really well. And I think Palmer on the left. I know he plays more centrally, and if he does, it's more on the right. And I know he's dabbled on the left at times, but I would put him out there because he's the only actual player that has any sort of flair to him these days, especially in the Gareth Southgate team. And you can't not put Kane in, of course. So I was dabbling at the time with Palmer to be on the right and Gordon on the left. The only problem I have with Gordon is obviously his end product, as you saw with against Iceland the other day. So yeah, that's my only issue with it. But yeah, not to have Jude in there.
Right, I'm changing mine.
It's a bit of a stinker.
I'm changing mine. I'm taking Mainu out. And I'm putting in Wharton.
All right, what do we want to do? Luckily, you're not England manager. Thank fuck you're not England manager.
Look, I've made my peace. I've watched him so many times this season. Every game I've watched him, and he's not done anything like remotely close to what Phil Foden does for City.
I don't think we're going to do this as well. By the way, this is what I would do if I was England manager. But I think it's going to be a lot similar to Ellis's. What Southgate's going to do.
Yeah, he's going to try and squeeze all the best players in. That's what he.
Yeah, maybe Ellis is actually like Gareth Southgate's like son or something like that.
He was actually in the same year as my auntie, same school.
His real name is Gareth Southgate. That's what Ellis's real name is.
Southgate, yeah. Because no doubt he's going to play Trent in the midfield, and he's going to keep Walker at right back, and he's not going to play Mainu. He'll play Mainu, Rice, and he'll play Rice, Jude, and Alexander-Arnold.
He won't start Trent.
Yeah, he'll play centre mid.
No, he won't. He won't start Trent in those big games. He will not start Trent in any of the big games.
There's a lot of noise at the moment. He's going to be playing in the midfield. A lot of.
It might be for like when we're playing Slovakia.
That we've got no crap team in our group, so all the games are going to be difficult.
What do you mean? All the teams are well below us in our group. We've got probably the easiest group in the draw.
No, I'd say ours is actually quite well rounded.
You're joking?
No, I'd say that.
If we don't win all of our groups and we don't come out with a 10+ goal difference, I'm going to be severely disappointed.
Right, I'm just going to go look at our group then. Okay, so let me just.
I think from what I've seen in the friendlies, Jonesy, we're going to be hit with some harsh realities very soon. Some
So better not be. Phil Foden's going to get a hat-trick.
Foden's not going to do anything. Slovenia, Denmark, England, Serbia.
Yeah, we should easily be putting 3 past all those.
I think Denmark will be the toughest one out of those.
Yeah,
two.
Denmark might only win 7-0.
Slovenia, but that's nowhere as near as bad as the worst ones for other groups. Do you know what I mean? Like Albania and like bloody Romania.
Romania are better than Serbia, and they're better than who's bottom of our group? Who's that team that's bottom of our group? Can't remember who it is now.
Slovenia.
Not Denmark, the other one, Slovenia. Yeah, we'll be fine. Don't you worry. We'll be fine. We will be fine. Right, before we move on to the end of the podcast, if you look on screen now, that is our league code for the Euros. There is I think 7 or 8 spots left in our league. I think Ellis is going to pull it up. I don't think you can see the code, so we'll get that flashed up on screen for everyone. But it'll be. Oh, Ellis hasn't even joined the other league. Unbelievable! Can you believe that?
This is our elite league.
Yeah, that's the content creators league. But we do have a couple of content creators in the content creator second league. We have Sorare Deek, Sorare Lex, Sorare Seeker.
Simply
There's
Alex.
20 more in there.
Sorare
Oh yeah, Sorare Capital's in there. He's somehow in there.
Wait, who sent him the invite? That's weird.
I did send you an invite, yeah.
I know. How did we get a cap in that one? That's weird.
I don't know. I have no idea. He shouldn't be in there anyway.
Ellis, you look like Gareth Southgate if he was ginger. Right, quite.
I've got a card again, actually, just around the corner.
Yeah, so we got Ricardo Romeo's in here as well, Sir Rob, all creators. Turkish Sorare Hubs jumped in, Caspro's jumped in. Someone called Sorare Capital, we're probably going to have to remove them out. Sorare Deek is in, Mr. Pompey is in, I'm in it, Ellis will be in it, Cap is already in it. So, yeah, there's going to be 10, I think, spots left. I'll just have a double check. Yeah, there's going to be 10 spots left. We're going to put it on screen and we'll put a tweet out. And first 10 people to get in is hopefully going to lead us to glory. Beat the content creator 11.
Yeah,
Love it.
that pranks he did. Did you see that Avengers thing he put up together?
Oh yeah, I saw you apply for it actually, Cap.
Ours is better than Pranksy's. Our
I hope it flops now because I didn't get it.
Oh, that's so sad. Your application was so good.
I know. I thought I did well, but he didn't see it obviously. So it is what it is.
we got Rock and Salah. They're going to carry us to glory. Rock and Salah are going to carry
Yeah,
us.
all those Netherlands games, they'll sort us
Yeah.
out.
The Dutch Dream,
The touchscreen.
the Double D's.
We got Jack P as well. Jack P, Simply Alex. They'll both help out big time. So yeah, the second league, like I said, 10 spots left, and league code is on screen now. I believe. Yeah, Cap's pointing up. Left Cap to the left. Little bit more to the left, to the right. No, to the right. That's it. It's somewhere over there, I think. Right. Anyway, we've had our fun now. But yes.
I'm not
That was
putting this
right.
in post.
What do you say?
Thanks.
Just us pointing in the air. Love it.
All right.
Anyway.
well, yeah, go for it.
That is all from us. Put in the comments who you think whose England team was the worst. Just write Sorare capital. It's easier that way.
Shocking. No Jude Bellingham.
No Phil Foden. He put in. Come on, it's Phil Foden. The man's a
No
god.
one can agree with you for Foden. I'm sorry.
Anyway, thank you guys. Thank you Ellis. Thank you Cap. And we will see you hopefully in about a week for another podcast when the Euros will have started. Take care, guys.
So, come on, England.
No.